I was having a conversation with a lady a couple of days ago, and I thought it would make a good video for everybody, but we were just talking about stock markets and how market downturns can be scary. They can throw people off quite a bit. And I was talking about some conversations I had with people in about 2010, 2011. They would come in the office and they would just look at me and go, "Man, I made the worst decision a couple of years ago." And they were talking about 2008, where the market had this big downturn, and a lot of us remember how scary it was if you had gone through it, and thinking, "Oh my goodness, things are really bad," and they didn't necessarily get excited about the presidential change that was coming up. A lot of people were really scared about Obama coming in and what he might do and where things were going. The banking crisis, you had the housing crisis happening, and there were so many things to be worried about. I mean, think about when we were talking about the Treasury Department and saying, hey, there was the guy, Tim Geithner, he was head of the Treasury Department, and he was basically saying, hey, if you're going to have a run on the bank, I'll tell you what, we're going to make sure that you're okay. We'll print as much money as you need. And that didn't put people at ease because they're thinking back to, I was talking about It's a Wonderful Life and talking about that bank run scene where they're basically saying, hey, Potter's not panicking, but everybody else was panicking. And I said, these people came in, they said in 2010, they said, I just made the biggest mistake. I sold out. I got out, and then all of a sudden the recovery happened, and I missed it. I wasn't there. I will never make that mistake again. And I see some of the same things happening right now when I read the headlines and I hear about what people are thinking about, and I can only imagine what people have got in their back in their minds, even if they haven't sold out or they haven't done anything. It's scary when you're going through these types of things. And if you look at this chart right here, at the very beginning, that was 2008. And you see that little blip down right there? That's what was panicking people. And we look over here and we say, how everything turned out was just fine, thank you. But if we had put all our money in Treasury bills, that's that line right there, that gray line at the very bottom that doesn't move at all, is basically what happened with Treasury bills. You had no return, and you missed out on a tremendous upside return that helped protect against inflation and would have helped save a person's investment portfolio, really got down to it. But what was scaring everybody back then? Well, what was scaring everybody was this kind of stuff. TARP, Troubled Asset Relief Program. Now, basically what was going on was that the government was going to come in and bail out the banks. That's what everybody was talking about. And, they were saying, bail out people, don't bail out banks. There were cracks in the TARP bailout plan, all the problems, an initial bailout falling out of favor with Americans. That was according to some of the polling that was being done, Gallup poll that was being done at the time. And there were a lot of people that were really against this. And in essence, what was happening is the government was buying preferred stock, and what they were doing was buying mortgage-backed securities. And that was telling people, are just saying, good grief, they're just blowing a bunch of money on nothing. They're just wasting it. And I went on one of the TV shows locally, and I was talking to one of the hosts, and he goes, Paul, the TARP program, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And I said, a lot of times we look at these government spending programs and it's scary, but look back to what got us out of the Depression, I said to him. And he goes, well, what got us out of the Depression? World War II. And I said, yeah, great. We bought a bunch of tanks that got blown up, airplanes that got shot out of the sky, ships that got sunk. I mean, literally, we look at it, we go, money got wasted. Well, what a lot of people don't recognize was the TARP program, as scary as it was, as wasteful as it seemed. You probably haven't heard this, but it actually made money. The government actually made money doing something that seemed like it was crazy at the time, and it seemed like there was no way out. But in reality, sometimes the government is the only entity that will spend when all the chips are down. And the reality of it is, what happens with people, and what happens in companies run by people, is they figure out a way through a problem. We always do. We always find a way, and when it seems the most dark, that's typically when we don't want to lose hope, because things go through cycles. Things go bad, they go good, they go bad, they go good. That is just the nature of life, isn't it? So just thought I'd share this, kind of a story about the past and how just history doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme.